It looks like it'll be at least a year before the 9/11 conspirators go on trial Saturday. 5 men accused of plotting and executing the September 11th attacks, including Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, the alleged mastermind, were all in a military court for an arraignment. The process that should have lasted maybe an hour ended up going for about 13 hours, more than 13 hours, in fact. With me now, NBC News national investigative correspondent Michael Isikoff, who just returned from Guantanamo, in the courtroom, watched those proceedings. Michael, good morning to you. I read and heard the reports from the weekend. It seemed like quite the circus unfolded in courtroom number 2. What was it like inside?
Well, first of all, absolutely. Khalid Sheikh Mohammed and the other co-defendants were doing everything they could to slow down, obstruct the process, aided by their lawyers. For one thing, they were completely defiant, wouldn't answer the judge's questions, wouldn't put on their headsets so they could hear translations, were forcing the judge to order a verbal translator to repeat everything that was being said, because he had to make sure that the defendants heard what was going on in court. Right. So that slowed the process down. Ramzi bin al-Shiba, one of the other key alleged architects of the 9/11 attack, twice disrupts the proceedings. Once gets up and starts praying, the other time starts shouting that there have been threats on the defendants and that they may be trying to kill us and make it look like suicide. For all that, and then in addition, the lawyers are raising objections left and right to everything that's going on in the military commission process. And at the end of the day, after the defendants declined to enter plea, one of them, while he'd been attached, requests a full reading of the charges.
All 87
which requires,
pages.
All 87 pages, requires another several hours into late hours of the night for the sole purpose of just dragging this out. The judge got quite annoyed because the defendants weren't listening at all while the charges were being read. In fact, they were consulting with their lawyers, chatting among themselves. All of this, of course, infuriated the family members who came down to watch the proceedings.
Michael, so much has been made about the rules of these military courts. You know, there's a lot of critics say that defendants' rights are being trampled. It seemed like on Saturday that the lawyers and the defendants got a lot more latitude in that courtroom than they would have gotten in a standard federal court.
Absolutely. You know, the most striking thing when I walked into the courtroom and we were sort of shuffled in breaks, during a break, frequent prayer breaks for the defendants, I walk in and there's Khalid Sheikh Mohammed in his white turban and flowing white robes, essentially serving as imam for the other 4 defendants with their prayer rugs, conducting prayers. And I mean, that is a scene you'd never see in federal court. But because these military commissions are untested and are essentially, in some respects, on trial themselves as to whether they can deliver a fair trial for the defendants, they are bending over backwards to at least give the appearance of a lot of rights and latitude for the defendants.
Michael Isikoff. Michael, thank you so much. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Today's tweet of the day comes from Carol Rosenberg, who covers Guantanamo Bay for the Miami Herald. Carol tweeting there, prison camp won't explain how KSM, that's Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, henna-ed his beard. Statement, Joint Task Force Guantanamo does not provide detainees with hair dye.